Hi friends and welcome to another video of Just Being Earnest. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing about why you will thank yourself one day for doing this thing. So before I even share what is the thing that I did, so probably I'll just share with you what actually happened so that you understand what was the reason why I thank myself for doing this. So in September 2020, which is last year and which is also during the COVID period, I actually had to go for my annual medical checkup by my company. So every year our company will actually send us for medical checkup. This is part of the routine process that they have in place to make sure that their employees are healthy. So I went down to the GP for my annual medical checkup, and then what we did there was the ECG test. So this is just a test to make sure that your heartbeat is beating in the regular pattern. And then at the same time, we also did the urine test. It's just to make sure that your urine from the test itself, they're able to detect whether are there any viruses or whatsoever. So after I did the test and then did the review with the GP, so the GP actually looked at the results from both of the tests, and then based on what she could understand from the results, she mentioned that there could be suspected heart and colon issues. So I was actually at home after doing those tests, and then 1 hour later, the GP actually called me back to the clinic saying that there are some things that they found from the ECG test results, and they wanted to clarify some stuff. So immediately, based on her findings, and then based on her checks with her colleagues when she called to her other colleagues, so she said there could be suspected heart and colon issues. So straight away, immediately, she told me to go down to A&E. So I went down to Mount Avenue A&E, where I went down there to get a further checkup with the doctors there, because the equipment at the hospital is definitely more complete compared to the one at the GP. So straight away I went in there, and then I had my blood being drawn. So my blood is actually being drawn twice. You can see from my hand, and then as well as my elbow. So the reason was that because the first time when the nurse did the drawing of my blood, she couldn't get my vein, so it was a failed attempt. So the second time when she did it, she had to do it at my elbow area there. So I actually waited about an hour plus after doing the blood test, and then when I did the review with the doctor, so the doctor actually mentioned that they couldn't find anything and asked me to go for further checkup with the heart doctor or the cardiologist. So I had to make an appointment with a cardiologist itself. So this is the end result of what happened after I went to the A&E. So 3 days later, I had my appointment fixed with the cardiologist, and then the place was actually at Farrer Park Hospital. So this is the ward itself. And I was given a choice to decide whether to be the shared ward or a single ward, and I chose to be in the single ward because at the point of time it was COVID, so I decided to play safe. So when I was warded there, I had to go for further checkups during the day and the night. So I actually had to do this ECG treadmill test where they will track my heartbeat while I push my body to strenuous levels, so they can see how my heartbeat reacts when my heart had to beat harder when I do exercise. And then I also had to do a CT scan as well. So they had a CT scan of my heart being done as well when I was warded over at Farrer Park Hospital. So when I had to stay overnight at the ward, I also had this heartbeat tracking monitor where my heartbeat throughout the time where this thing was attached to me, the results were being sent to the machine to track and monitor how my heartbeat was actually beating throughout the day. So I had this thing for me for probably the entire day when I was warded at the hospital itself. So at the end of it, probably about 3-4 days later after I was able to leave the hospital. So I was actually only warded there for 1 day itself. And then 3 or 4 days later, that's when I actually go back to the specialist to review my results. And then based on the doctor's finding, there were indeed some variation in the heartbeat pattern, but overall it was nothing serious itself. So that's when 13 days later, I had my further checkup for the colon issues. So I had to see a colon doctor. So for the colon issue itself, I had to go for the colonoscopy. So this is where I was actually had to go for day surgery, and this is how the ward looked like, the cubicle. So inside the cubicle itself, there was actually also the toilet. And the reason why they actually have this toilet was because I have to drink this fluid, which is called Fortrans. So for colonoscopy, because they will be inserting a scope through your anus or your butt to see what's inside your colon. And in order for the scope to be able to see the things clearly inside the colon, they have to clear out whatever is inside the colon itself. So by drinking this fluid, this will actually cause you to pass motion or shit. And that's where you will help to clear everything inside your colon. So there were actually, you can see that there are actually two tumblers for me, but what happened is that I was only able to finish one of the tumbler. I wasn't able to finish the other one, was because initially it was actually okay. It was still drinkable. So it was okay. I wasn't too sick of the water, but once I started drinking up to half of the tumbler already, right, I couldn't take it, because even drinking up to half of the tumbler itself already, I already went to the toilet probably 3-4 times, and as I went to the toilet and passed motion second, third, fourth time, right, then everything that was just coming out of my backside was just liquid already. So I told the nurse that I think I don't want to drink enough. I've drank enough of the water and I don't want to drink already. So that was probably about a 1 hour period where I have to constantly drink the Fontrans water. And then after that, straight away, that's when I actually was being built into the surgery room. And so this is actually just an illustration of how the colonoscopy was actually being done. So I actually had to lay down on my side, and then the doctor will put the scope through my backside or through the anus, and then this is where you use it to scan and look through to see what's inside my colon itself. So I was actually given GA, so I was asleep throughout the entire operation itself, and then that's where you also had the needle poke through for the IV drip. And then I probably slept for an hour after the surgery was done, and then when I was awake, then there was food to eat. So this is actually the procedure for the colonoscopy done at Farrer Park Hospital. So do note that viewer discretion is advised for the next pictures, which is the results of the colonoscopy. So this is how the images look like in my colon. So based on what was the doctor's finding, he mentioned that actually there wasn't anything much to it. It was pretty okay, probably just some minor inflammation, but other than that, there wasn't any major issues to it. So this result itself, he said that it will probably last me for about 3 to 5 years before I would actually need to go for another colonoscopy to see if there's any changes along the way. But other than that, my colon was actually okay. So heart issues, no big issues. Colon issues, also no big issues. But the big issues was that to check both the heart and the colon issues, I mean, there was the operation cost, the doctor's fees, the nurse fees, the equipment fees, and everything else. So in the end, the hospital bills came up to be quite a huge amount. So that's why in this slide itself, that's why I mentioned that why I actually thank myself one day for doing this was because about 2 years back, I mean, I already had my hospitalization plan, but I didn't have a rider to it that will fully pay off everything from the first amount. So I actually had a review done with my agent 2 years back, probably around 2018. And then that's when we had a review on a quarterly basis or a semi-annual basis. And then we saw that it was actually more worth it to get a rider so that it covers the full amount from the first dollar, so that I don't have to come out with any single amount. So that's why it's actually important to make sure that you are well covered with your insurance, and also get the insurance agent to constantly review your insurance policies to make sure that you are well protected for your health and other issues. So if you are looking to find out more about or learn more about insurance, you can actually check out Seedly website. So these are some of the places where I look to get more information about what is insurance about in details, and what are the various type of insurance that are in the market, and what is necessary and not necessary. So you can see here from this picture itself, you can see that health is the most important, which is the hospitalization insurance. And then second is your term or whole life. Third is your critical illness. Fourth is your disability. And then fifth is your personal accidents. So for me, I would say I was actually lucky that 2 years ago, I actually had a review done, and I was actually advised by my insurance agent to add a rider so that I'm fully covered for whatever hospitalization cost involved. And just by paying that small amount for the rider, it actually helped to save me a lot of money. So that's why I say insurance is not about making money or lowering your cost, but insurance is more of protecting your downside for the things that is unknown. So it's like for those who are still young, you may be thinking like, why should I be actually spending money on insurance when I can be using this money to grow my wealth? But based on this incident on my personal level, I can see that why insurance is important. It's always better to protect your downside first before looking into other stuff such as investing to grow your money. So the main takeaway for me is that always make sure that you are covered first. Make sure that your downside is protected. Make sure that your defenders are in place first before you move on to attack. So hopefully through this video, you'll learn something new today. And always remember to make smarter financial decisions every day. Have a great day ahead, and bye-bye.